actually offering a discount right now as a way for saying thank you for taking the architecture cruise here today. We're going to sell you more stuff. I got to do my job. All right. Now, it is actually a pretty good deal. And we're slashing down those prices. Usually they're like $35, $40. They're down to only $6 per person for anyone who has taken our architecture cruise. So the way that this works, just hold on to your ticket that you use to get on board this boat. And in the days to come, if you're sticking around for the weekend, you can take it to one of our shoreline sightseeing booths right over there, the sales booth. And you can just say, hey, I want to do the Lake Michigan tours. That serves as your discount, so you can slash down that price. $6 per giant plate. I am your metaphorical scooper, giving you a scoop of some of these different architectural styles. And my goal by the end of this tour is that you're going to have that feeling of fullness and satisfaction as if you just sat down and enjoyed a nice big meal. And then hopefully I can provide for you a taste of what Chicago has to offer. Now we're going to have a lot of time to really munch on all these buildings, but before we get into all that, I want to go back in time, kind of do some prep work for our meal, and start with Chicago's early history. Now, if we go back to the 15th century, before a time when any of these buildings were here, well, Chicago at that time consisted mainly of prairie land, swampy marsh, and a little 4 feet wide river snaking out and emptying into Lake Michigan, right over there to the east. Now, at that time, there were many native indigenous tribes living here, including the Potawatomi, the Ojibwe, and the Ottawa tribes. We call those the Council of the Three Fires. They had vast trading networks all throughout these lands. The main reason they focused here had to do with the river and lake location, meant this was a hot spot for the fur trade, emerged as one of Chicago's early industries. Now, those native tribes had a name for these lands. They referred to this area as Chicagois. You can see where that name Chicago stems from, right? It's an Algonquin term. It roughly translates to skunk onion or stinky onion. Yeah, that's how we get our name. That's because along the banks of the river there are wild onions and wild garlic growing, and as that would rot, the smell would permeate throughout these lands. And so, yeah, if you take it at face value, New York City, but here in the Midwest, I present to you Chicago, the stinky onion. Hey. I don't think that has quite the same ring to it, I would say, but that's what we got. Now, it was not until the late 1770s that the first non-indigenous permanent settler made his way here. His name was Jean-Baptiste du Sable. Now, du Sable was an immigrant from Haiti of French and African. For just a quick second as we pass underneath Lakeshore Drive, and then we are going to dive straight into this architecture. Here we go, to the left-hand side. You can check out that blue wavy building right there. Well, that is the St. Regis Chicago. The St. Regis is the third tallest skyscraper currently here in our city. It stands at 1,191 feet tall. It is designed by an incredible Chicago local architect by the name Jeannie Gang of Studio Gang Architecture firm. That makes this skyscraper not only the tallest or the third tallest skyscraper in Chicago, it is also the tallest skyscraper in the world ever designed by a woman and a woman-led architecture firm. Yeah, we're breaking records to start off the tour. Now, this building uses a couple methods of wind sway reduction. Let's get into that. Skyscrapers all around the world, they're designed to bend and sway back and forth in the wind. You need a little bit of give and take because you don't want to risk breaking your foundation. So you get the St. Regis Hotel there towards the bottom. Even still, you're paying a pretty penny per night. I mean, especially during the holiday season, but night to night, it's around like $1,000 or so. So maybe you're looking for something more budget conscious. I certainly am. That's where the Swiss Hotel steps in. Beautiful hotel designed by architect Harry Weiss. If you notice, the peak of the building is actually facing towards this river. Yeah, it's a triangle-shaped building. Yeah, so Harry Weiss loves triangles within his architecture. I don't want to spoil as to why yet, but we will address it a little bit later on in the North Range. So just lock that in the back of your head. Now, just behind that building, you can also see the wave-like pattern cascading down the side of Aqua Tower. Aqua is incredible. It's one of my favorite residential designs in downtown Chicago. Guess who designed it? Yeah, Jeannie Gang, once again. She's great. This is some of her work from 2009. The wave-like pattern is inspired by the natural formation of limestone outcroppings along Lake Michigan, a great way to complement Chicago's waterways. And the waves also serve as unique balconies for the residents of Aqua, each offering a unique view here of the city. Same sort of thing applies here. Never mind. Yeah, the dock at that Chicago Intercontinental has never been put to use. Now, continuing with the 1920s, just in front of us there, we got the white building with the clock tower, American flag on the side, celebrate. And that is the Wrigley Building, named after William M. Wrigley Jr. of the Chewing Gum Company, right? Wrigley Chewing Gum. This was their original headquarters. The building itself is broken up into two sections. The left-hand side from 1921. The expansion to the right was added in 1924. The whole building designed by architecture firm Graham Anderson, Probst & White. Now the style we're taking a look at here, this is known as Spanish Revival architecture. Spanish Revival. So yeah, you're taking that architecture from Spain as inspiration, reviving it here in our city. You can notice specifically the clock tower, how it's modeled after the Corral Bell Tower of the Cathedral de Sevilla. The main material being used here, about 250,000 terracotta clay tiles surround the building's exterior in 6 different shades of white. And you see the way we light up this building? This is in the same way that we lit up the buildings of the World's Fair of 1890. These jewelers did not want to risk leaving onto the streets of Chicago. Yeah, it scares me every time, so they've been doing a lot today. And I've got it. But yeah, what was I saying? Jewelers building? Right. So, they didn't want to risk leaving onto the streets of Chicago and risk getting robbed, right? So they didn't have to. You could just drive straight to the side of it. Oh, hey. All right, coming up there to our right-hand side, you can see a pair of residential high-rises. This is known as Marina City. So Marina City was being heavily built out around the 1960s. Now, keep in mind, 1960 Chicago, very different than 2020 Chicago. Back in the 1960s, this was a far more industrial downtown environment. Big steel mills, factories, distilleries, so the river itself, not very pleasant to live next to. If you were an architect, you had to do a lot of heavy lifting to try to get people to want to live here. An architect by the name of Bertrand Goldberg accomplished that with the design of Marina City, taking all these amenities and putting them right inside for the residents. Grocery stores, shopping centers, restaurants, a marina. Let's see if we can get away from the folks in here at the restaurant. Hey, notice us. You keep waiting, I'm gonna keep going. But yes, underneath you get the marina space. You also have valet parking for your car at the base of each one of the towers. We get questions sometimes. Has anyone ever driven their car on the side of this parking garage? Yes. But it was part of filming for a movie. The Hunter with Steve McQueen drives off the side into the water down below. Check it out on YouTube, all life stunts. I mean, these towers have been heavily featured in a lot of major pop culture, including movies and album covers and TV shows. Marina City, pretty incredible. All right, coming up here to the left. First off, Tiny Tap. You want to grab yourself a drink next to the water? Great place to do so, right over there. Let's talk about the building sitting just behind it. This is my favorite exterior lights of any building in Chicago. It's just gorgeous. Take a look. Now, the building in itself is 77 West Wacker. 77 West Wacker, you can classify it as a couple things. Neoclassical, modern classical, postmodernism, they all apply. See, architect Ricardo Bonfield was combining these newer and older elements to make a very unique skyscraper, but specifically, the roof up there is designed in reference to a Greek temple and the Parthenon. Wolf Point West on the other side, some luxury condos and apartments from the late 2010s. To the left of all of that, directly in front of us on the river, I think it looks like the giant glass Hot Pocket. So, I don't know, maybe of all that, this upside down pencil-shaped building, I'm not going to talk about that right now, but we will as we travel down the south branch, so lock that in the back of your head. But at the bottom of this archway of River Point Tower, you can also see that red spiral. You see that right there? That is known as the Constellations, designed by an architect named Santiago Calatrava. Santiago Calatrava was supposed to have a skyscraper in Chicago. It was planned out to be next to Lakeshore Drive on the main bridge of the river, and it was going to stand at 2,000 feet tall. It was going to be known as the Chicago Spire. What happened to that building? It was all canceled. Construction was already underway, and then 2008, the recession, the financial crisis, never came to be, unfortunately. It is kind of a bummer. And because of that, we actually never got any of Santiago Calatrava's skyscrapers here in our city today. In fact, the only thing we have of this here in our city is that. It's not a building, it's not tall, it's not much, but it's better than nothing, right? Reference of what we could have had. All right, as we travel up the North Branch, a couple things to see in this direction. First off, there to our right, you can see the Carroll Avenue Railroad Bridge. That's an old industrial bridge from 1908.
जाटला भाई जाटला बोले नहीं राजे के सारी के ना पर आउट नहीं बोला अपना
Full operation as a post office until it closed down in 1996. But then it just remained closed for many years. Nothing was done with it until new investors put in about $900 million to do a full gut rehab of the building. They turned it into new and modern office space. And they were like, guys, this is going to work out really well. You ready to open up? All right, let's do it. Open up the doors officially in 2019. Uh-oh. Yeah, that was not a very good year for office space in Chicago. One year after that, one year after that, one year after that. So we had to get through the pandemic, but now it's open once again. Serves as office space for companies like Food Trade, Walgreens, PepsiCo, many more organizations inside the day. All right. Now, as we travel down the South Branch of the river, coming up there to our left, you see some beautiful. All right, say Thomas Building. Sit just behind that though. I mean, that's the star of the show. Black building, 2-eye antenna with the blue and red lights. Well, that, my friends, is the incredible, the iconic, the one, the only, the Sears Tower. Question mark? Yeah, if you look it up on Google Maps, it's not going to say Sears Tower. It's going to say Willis Tower because Willis Insurance Group ruins everything. But yeah, they moved into the building and started renting out some space inside. When they did, they got a hold of the naming rights. Started paying each month to secure the naming rights that have changed on all major platforms. Then everyone who lived in Chicago was like, what are we calling it? No, we're not going to call it that. So, we don't. I'm not going to. We're just going to call it the second store. The original name, the Sears Tower. So the Sears Tower stands at 1,451 feet tall. That makes it the tallest skyscraper here in Chicago still to this day. Not only that, it also held the record as the tallest skyscraper in the world from the end of the night. There's going to be a bunch of music playing. So I'll tell you about this now. What you're taking a look at is known as art. Each and every summer here in Chicago, and it's a lot of fun. There are actually 2 showings, one at 8:30, one at 9, but they rotate through different digital artwork that's projected onto the side of this building. So right now they got some going on for 4th of July, but probably next week they'll rotate through. This is a free exhibit for you guys to check out too, so if you want to see the whole thing, you can actually stop on the side of the Riverwalk area right over here and enjoy some art on the Mart. Now, the Riverwalk, as they were seeking the most beautiful office building in the world for their official headquarters. They had over 200 submissions, and out of all of those, 2 New York City architects won the competition by the name Howells and Hood, and the building itself was completed in 1925. Now, I want someone to scan that so you can report back to me and tell me what it is, because now I'm curious. Someone's at you, someone's back. All right, let me know. We can walk around later on. Let me know what it is.